The session began with a motion to support a petition in John Cortes's name, supported by Trevor Hammond and Marlene Hassan Naon, following yesterday's climate change march. The petition requests an independent body to address climate change to be supported at cross-party level. The agenda moved very swiftly onto a bill for a private sector pensions plan and the establishment of a pensions commissioner. The Chief Minister said for the first time in Gibraltar's history, private sector workers will be able to choose to participate in a pension plan. The Act will require employers to contribute to the plan with minimum requirements, although any employer wanting to do more can do so. Mr. Picardo recognized that many employers have already put such a plan in place and explains that the implementation of the Act is phased so small businesses have time to adjust. Large employers need to have pensions plans in place by 2021, while medium enterprises will need to do so by 2022, small businesses by 2025, and micro-employers by 2027. Employees need to work for a year to qualify and earn at least £10,000. The Commissioner keeps a register and can investigate compliance, issuing penalties where appropriate. Mr. Picardo explains that during the consultation process, Unite had been supportive, but felt the bill hadn't gone far enough, while the Chamber and GFSB felt it had gone too far. He said he was confident the bill strikes the right balance, and although the benefits won't be felt for generations, he was proud to have been the one to introduce it. Opposition spokesman Roy Clinton said the bill had lost a lot from the original command paper, with 10 sections reduced to 6. He said he would have liked to have seen more input from stakeholders and noted that the Chamber and the GFSB were preparing a reply. He said there was no urgency to this bill except for that of the electoral cycle and moved a motion to establish a select committee to review the bill further and take on stakeholder feedback. Mr. Picardo said the command paper had been published in April 2018. That's 1 year and 3 months ago, which is plenty of time. And it wasn't the first stage in the process, since the government had started to talk to stakeholders years ago, with the command paper being the result of that. Mr. Picardo said if he hadn't made changes, he would have been criticized for not listening. And instead, he was being criticized for changing too much. He rejected Mr. Clinton's motion, saying it was simply a delaying tactic designed to try and convince working-class people the opposition was on their side. Marlene Hassan Naon said it wasn't right to debate this bill without reflecting the needs of the Private Sector Pensioners Association. She said the collective had been ignored and lied to by successive governments and were living on a subsistence wage while politicians boasted of Gibraltar's economic success. She urged some form of retroactivity be included in the bill. But Mr. Picardo said it was not true that the private sector pensioners had been ignored or lied to, although he conceded that their ambitions had not been fulfilled, and that there was a difference between poverty and simply wanting more. He said his party had supported the introduction of at least minimum wage income for all households through community care, and added that Gibraltar is in the top third in the EU for minimum wage. The opposition objected to the third reading and committee stage being taken, meaning the bill cannot now be passed until Parliament next sits on Friday the 12th. Parliament, however, did pass a bill which extends the Ombudsman's jurisdiction to include the University of Gibraltar. The bill allows the Ombudsman to investigate complaints from students regarding administrative acts at the university.